Stop for a second and look out the window at your backyard. The white fence is spotless, the lawn is freshly mowed, and that colorful flower bed is, without a doubt, the pride of the neighborhood. It looks like the perfect image of the American dream, right? But what if I told you that, hidden among these green leaves and vibrant flowers, could be cultivating, right now, a federal crime? Welcome to a reality that most homeowners in the United States completely ignore, until they receive an official cease and desist notice, or an unfriendly visit from a government agent. When we talk about illegal plants, it is natural to think immediately of the DEA and controlled substances. But the rabbit hole goes much deeper. The U.S. Department of Agriculture, the USDA, maintains a watch list of species that are classified not just as plants, but as true ecological terrorists. These species are banned because they possess the devastating potential to annihilate ecosystems, destroy local agriculture, and suffocate American flora. And the scariest part, they look totally innocent. Many are beautiful, ornamental, and have been freely sold in garden centers. Today, we are going to pull this innocence out by the root. Get ready as we reveal 7 plants that seem harmless, but can turn your peaceful garden into a crime scene, resulting in heavy federal fines and headaches you never imagined. Now we leave the stereotype of forbidden plant drugs and enter a much stranger story. That of a fruit. The black currant seems harmless, almost too European to cause confusion. But in the United States, it became a character in a national drama known to many as the Great Ban of 1911. The logic was simple and scary. For decades, the black currant was treated as an indirect threat to American forests. The accusation, serving as a host for a fungus called white pine blister rust, a disease capable of devastating white pines. And white pine, for America of that period, wasn't just nature. It was economy, it was timber, it was construction, it was industry. Then came the order: cut, eliminate, prevent cultivation. A fruit entered the country's mental list as if it were botanical contraband. And that is why there is a perfect phrase for this case: the plant that Americans forgot the taste of. Officially, the scenario changed later. The federal ban would have been lifted in 1966. But the story doesn't end there. In several places, the rules remained at the state level, and states like Maine and New Hampshire are cited with severe restrictions to this day. And here is a practical warning. In the USA, what is allowed in one state can be a serious problem in the neighbor. The USDA and state agencies can impose specific prohibitions and requirements. And if you thought that was an exaggeration, wait for the next plant. Because now the list goes from banned for economy to banned for physical risk. Now, the conversation changes drastically. Forget the economy and the timber industry. We are entering biological horror movie territory. If you see this plant, which looks like a Queen Anne's lace that took radioactive steroids and grew up to 4 meters tall, run. We are talking about Heracleum montegasianum, the infamous giant hogweed. The US federal government didn't put this plant on the noxious weed list because it is ugly. It is there because it is a living chemical weapon. The danger here is physical and immediate. Its defense mechanism is the sap, which contains photosensitizing toxins. What does this mean? It means that if you touch it and sunlight touches your skin, a reaction called phytophotodermatitis occurs. Basically, the plant removes your skin's ability to protect itself from the sun. The result is not an itch. It is severe third-degree burns and gigantic blisters. Worse yet, if the sap comes into contact with your eyes, it can cause permanent blindness. States like New York and Virginia have already had panic outbreaks with this plant. Health authorities are clear. This is not gardening, it is a public health hazard. If you encounter giant hogweed, do not try to be a hero. Do not touch, do not cut. Call professionals in protective suits. Because while this plant wants to destroy your skin, the next on our list has a different target. It wants to destroy your entire house. While giant hogweed attacks your skin, The next on the list attacks something Americans protect with the same ferocity: their property value. I present Fallopia japonica, known as Japanese knotweed or the immortal invader. The nickname is no exaggeration, and the danger here is not poison, it is brute force. This plant is an engineering nightmare. The roots are so aggressive and volcanic that they can pierce asphalt, lift sidewalks, and in the worst case, compromise your house's concrete foundation. Imagine the foundation of your biggest investment being slowly crushed by a root that refuses to die. That is why the angle here is purely financial. This is the plant that can bankrupt you. In places like the United Kingdom, its presence in the backyard is already reason enough for banks to deny mortgages, making houses unsellable. And don't think the US is immune. States like Michigan and Wisconsin take this so seriously that they have classified knotweed as strictly prohibited on their invasive species lists. In these places, it is illegal to plant, illegal to buy, and even transporting pieces of it in your car can result in fines. If you try to cut it and throw the remains in the regular trash, you could be spreading the plague and committing an environmental infraction. Having this on your land is having a real estate devaluation time bomb. If you see it, there is no point in just cutting it. It comes back stronger. It is a trench war in your own garden. And speaking of complex wars and federal laws, the next plant takes us to a different battle. The thin and dangerous line between sacred religious freedom and the war on drugs. We leave the trenches of your backyard for a gray zone, where faith collides with federal narcotics law. Meet peyote, Luphophora williamsi. If you see this small spineless cactus being sold at a plant fair in Amsterdam or London, it might seem like just another exotic succulent, but in the United States, having this on your windowsill is a federal crime as serious as possessing heroin or LSD. The DEA classifies peyote as a Schedule I substance, the highest level of restriction, claiming high potential for abuse and no accepted medical use. But here is the secret that most ignore. This plant is native to Texas. It grows in American soil. And for a specific group, it is not a drug, it is God. Thanks to the American Indian Religious Freedom Act, there is a strict and fascinating legal exception. Members of the Native American Church have the protected right to use peyote in religious sacraments. For them, it is spiritual medicine. For any other American citizen, it is jail. The law is so specific that only licensed peyoteros in Texas can legally harvest and sell the plant. So, if you don't have a tribal ID and a proven religious justification, stay away. It is the only plant in America that is sacred to some and a felony to others. And speaking of plants with complicated government histories, the next on the list is the biggest miscalculation in the history of American agriculture. The government literally paid to spread this plague. If peyote is a legal error of judgment, the next plant is the definition of a government shot in the foot. We now travel to the American South to meet a living legend, Kudzu, the vine that ate the South. This story is the supreme irony. During the Great Depression, in the 1930s, the federal government was desperate to combat soil erosion that was devastating farms. The magic solution? Kudzu. The Soil Conservation Service not only suggested but paid farmers up to $8 an acre, a fortune at the time, to plant this Asian vine everywhere. The Civilian Conservation Corps did millions of seedlings with their own hands. The government created a monster. Kudzu grows up to 30 centimeters a day. It not only covers the ground, it swallows everything. Forests, train lines, abandoned cars, and even entire houses disappear under this suffocating green blanket. Today, the same government that funded its planting spends millions of dollars annually trying to kill it, classifying it as a noxious weed. It is illegal to plant or sell in almost all southern states. But the truth is the law arrived too late. Kudzu has already won. And if the government messed up badly by introducing a plant, our last guest shows how ruthless it was in trying to destroy another. one that threatened America's most basic food. We leave the giant vines of the South for a much more subtle threat, which almost destroyed America's breakfast. Meet the common barberry, Berberis vulgaris. Its ancestors, the early settlers, brought this plant from Europe as if it were a treasure. It was useful for everything. The fruits became delicious jams, the bark produced yellow dye, and its thorns formed perfect living fences to protect livestock. It seemed like the perfect plant, but it hid a devastating biological secret. In the early 20th century, scientists discovered that barberry was the perfect accomplice for a crop serial killer, wheat stem rust. The plant served as an intermediate host where the fungus multiplied before attacking wheat fields. The result? The country's bread supply was under direct threat of collapse. The American government didn't ask please. They launched the Barberry Eradication Program, a total war that lasted decades, where millions of bushes were uprooted or poisoned by federal teams. Today, many Japanese or hybrid ornamental varieties are allowed and safe. But if you find the original vulgaris species growing wild near a wheat farm in the Midwest, know that it is still treated as an enemy of the state. And to close our list, we go to the water, with a plant that is sold illegally out of pure ignorance. To end our most wanted list, we look to our lakes and water features. I present Eichhornia crassips, or water hyacinth. Looking at it, with those beautiful floating purple flowers, it is easy to see why so many people want it in their backyard ornamental ponds. It seems like the perfect decoration, but this beauty is deceptive. The water hyacinth is one of the fastest growing aquatic plants in the world. When it escapes your little pond, and it will escape, it creates mats so dense they block sunlight, kill all oxygen in the water, and suffocate native fish. In Florida and California, it is not decoration. It is a disaster that clogs canals, breaks boat propellers, and costs millions in cleanup. That is why interstate transport of this plant is a federal crime under the Lacey Act. The problem? Many garden shop owners and online sellers don't know this. You can walk into a local store today and find this criminal for sale in the aquarium section. But remember, buying it and taking it home can put you in the crosshairs of environmental authorities. Don't be fooled by the pretty flower. It is a plague in disguise. If we learned one thing today, it is that nature is not always free. What seems like a simple exotic addition to your flower bed can be a death sentence for the local ecosystem or a heavy fine for your pocket. Before clicking buy that foreign seed website or accepting a strange seedling from a neighbor, do your homework. Check the lists of invasive and prohibited species from your state's Department of Natural Resources, DNR. Laws change from place to place, and ignorance is no defense in court. Protect your property, protect American nature, and protect your bank account. Your garden should be your sanctuary of peace. Make sure it is not secretly a crime scene. If this video saved your backyard from a federal invasion, smash that like button and subscribe to the channel for more curiosities you don't see anywhere else. Until next time.